All right. Okay, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Kate Remillard, and I'm on the marketing team with VHT Studios, and I'm here today as your MC. Before we get started, I just need to mention a couple of things. We have everybody muted except for our panelists. So if you have questions for our guest, please add them to the Q&A box, and we'll get to them along the way, and for sure save some time at the end as well. You'll want to hang out all the way to the end because we'll announce the winners of the 5 free lunch on us. It's a DoorDash gift card for $25. So you must be present to win. So hang around. We'll announce it at the end. Now I'm excited to introduce the woman herself, Lucy Edwards.
Thank you, Kate. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lunch with Lucy. We're going to have an exciting 30 minutes together. My guest is Diane Ramirez, CEO of Brown Harris Stevens. And Diane is a very exciting and awesome guest and a great presenter. And most importantly, Diane is going to share with us her understanding of the market and her vision of the new agent. And we have several really great topics. So Diane, welcome to Lunch with Lucy.
Oh, thank you, Lucy. I'm so excited to be here. I've been looking forward to it for weeks. Thank you for thinking of me.
So today I would love to start with a topic that it's important and it's a question for everybody. Today's agent. How do you see today's agent? Because it's certainly not the same as it was a year ago. So what's your take on it?
Well, today's agent is absolutely working 24/7. And if anything, I'm always stressing, look out for your physical and mental health as well, because I do not think I have seen our agents, and I think this is all agents, work as hard as they have this last year and under such incredible circumstances. Some of them starting out in states where they were essential, going out into homes and showing apartments where we didn't really have even good protocol yet. And so my hat's off to them, the pioneers in the COVID environment. But our agent is working 24/7 and they have to do everything. They've got to be out there touching all of their sphere of influence and touching them in such a way that it's not asking for business, but truly saying, how are you doing? I'm here if I can help you. And then they've got to be in social media, and they've got to keep up with technology. So they're just superstars, absolutely superstars.
And I always believed that the agent is a liaison between the community and the buyers and the sellers. And therefore, there is a very big responsibility for the agent to put everybody together. I've known great agents and broker owners who would create Facebook posts for the neighborhood and advise whose birthday it is and let everyone know that today is a wonderful day in the park and just please join with social distancing and everything that's needed. So I think it's a great responsibility for the agent. And I think that last year, more than ever, the agent became more part of the community than ever before. Would you think so?
Oh, absolutely. Again, we were all just trying to figure out how to make this work. So they were, and because they were in the first line of it, they were helping the community understand, what can you do? We have to move on. People have to buy, they have to sell. And they were looking to them as the community leaders and how they were doing the things and opening the doors and leaving them open and making sure closet doors were opening and checking what people touched. And that's the kind of leadership and guidance everybody was looking for. And there they were out on the front line. And so it's been an extraordinary year for them showing their great skills and leadership.
Part of being a new agent is also struggling in a way maybe in positive, negative way, but struggling with lack of inventory, and markets throughout the country are just screaming for more inventory. Now, Diane, your company, you cover New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, which were very close to each other, but every market is very different.
Very
and
different.
you also are in Florida, which is completely different from us. So would you like to share your opinion on that?
Yes, the challenge really, particularly in your suburban markets, whether it's the Florida suburban or Connecticut, New Jersey, they were just, you couldn't find inventory. And that's where the agent really had to be touching base with anyone and everyone they knew, letting them know that they're there to help. We found it, particularly in the beginning of the pandemic, the urban markets were more challenged, be it Manhattan, Brooklyn, even Hoboken in your New Jersey, Stamford, for instance, your more vertical cities and towns. They were more challenged, but now, thank God, they've all picked up again. So, but the challenge of inventory is going to be with us for, I'm sure, at least a year and further. And it's going to be the agents that, have their ear to the ground and are there, and that will find out about the properties. And the other thing I'm encouraging our agents, and it's true for everyone, is, speak to your colleagues, speak to the competitors even, and I've got someone, I have this coming on, do you have that coming on? So even word of mouth, so you can be prepared with something, because once it hits the market, it's gone in minutes sometimes. So it's keeping that the word going of what's happening, and being in the know that's going to help you get your buyer to get it, or for you to get the listing. So it's a time to stay very, very connected.
Well, I believe that we all have to play in the same sandbox, and we have to
Yes.
play well together.
Absolutely.
So it's a great opportunity for all realtors to be as a community and share the information, and have our goal is to make sure that the client is happy, and the client for realtor and for us as a marketing company is the buyer and the seller. And to make them happy, we have to share information. So I agree with you completely.
Absolutely.
Now, looking at Connecticut was always Connecticut always had the market where nothing really moved that quickly, and now there is no inventory in Connecticut either.
No, absolutely. Connecticut is just, and it's similar to New York and New Jersey. They're challenged with the taxation, and a lot of the aging residents saying, maybe I'll try another state, and the taxation is an encouragement to leave. So they have been challenged, and it's interesting, their market didn't really rebound completely the way others did. But you're so right, there is nothing available. It's a great thing to say, and my agents often say to me, is this a blip? Is this now, when the pandemic has settled down and everybody goes back to where they were, is our market going to not be as attractive and active as it is? And I really think it will remain. I think our mindset has totally changed. No one wants to be just one thing anymore. They don't want to just own in New York, or you might want a place in the Hamptons, but now everyone, whatever your price point, you want options. You want to have somewhere to go, if you're in Connecticut and you live in New York, you want the option to have a little pied-à-terre in New York, so you're not traveling back and forth on the trains all the time. If you're living in New York, you want to be able to have a place to get out of the urban environment. And I think our mindset has totally changed, and I don't think it's going to go back to, this is where I want to be. I think everyone's going to continue to want options.
Now that brings me to a question, just like you said, I would like to have an apartment in New York and maybe a house in Connecticut. Do you see the trend of agents getting dual licenses? So this way they can accommodate also someone to purchase a house an hour away from Manhattan and then have a small apartment here. What do you see as far as the trend? Or Florida, let's not forget Florida.
Right,
Taxes
absolutely.
are great, climate is good.
Right. Right. I see more and more agents wanting the dual license. And that doesn't mean you can be an agent for all territories, because again, part of what makes you a great agent is your expertise, your market knowledge, the guidance you can give people. And you just cannot know it all. But there are circumstances where a client feels so dependent on your knowledge that they will want you to be part of something. If you live in New York or Connecticut and your client is buying in Florida, they may not think you're going to be the prime agent, but they want you working with the most knowledgeable agent in that marketplace. And that's where I see dual agent happening. I also see it in Connecticut and Westchester, because some of the towns are so close that many of the clients go back and forth. And that is a market that an agent can know both. So we're seeing that a great deal, but you are seeing agents opening up their mind to being dual agents, being in different states. Just like years ago, if you were a Greenwich, Connecticut agent, you wouldn't think to show something in Darien, for instance, where now even you're looking at other towns. So the agents are broadening their expertise and just learning the markets, and it's to their benefit.
I just had an interview. I had a pleasure to interview Christina Pappas. She is the president-elect of Florida Realtors. And she mentioned that they are actually getting more agent members in Florida now, even more than in California. And California was always number one. And she noticed that agents who are applying for license in Florida are from everywhere, every state of the country. That is amazing. For that reason, that maybe someone who lives in Chicago, they don't really want to fly to Florida to show a place, but they do have that relationship that they can refer business to each other and they can be part of the transaction and maybe control some of the questions and answers and such, right?
You're so right. And I know Christine, she's a fabulous agent, and her family is wonderful. I know the family business so well. She's terrific. She's so right. Again, people aren't looking to travel as quickly. Like before all of this, someone would just get in the car or you'd even take a plane and you'd go looking for a property in an area that you might be interested in. People aren't so quick to just jump even in a car to go drive around and look at open houses, of which it's hard to even do open houses except by appointment. So they're looking for that expert that they trust. And that's why, you have to expand your horizons and be able to advise them, of course, teaming up with someone that is crackerjack in that area. But to be able to have the trust factor with your client who trusts you is a big factor today.
Well, that you just brought up a very interesting point here, Diane. With limited availability of looking at properties, or people are moving from state to state, you can't just go somewhere at your lunch hour to look at the house.
Right.
The marketing strategy is so important, and all the marketing tools that the agent should offer to their sellers and to their buyers. But also keep in mind sellers. Sellers don't want to have an army of unauthorized traffic in their house either. They appreciate that agent will offer some kind of like 3D tour based on Matterport,
Yes.
or
Yes.
some videos and great photography, that they feel comfortable that the buyer should really go through the property before they decide to see it in person, right?
Absolutely, because they're not going out on a Saturday or Sunday and just popping in and out of properties. they're doing, what was that old advertisement about the yellow pages? Let your fingers do the walking. That's what people are doing. I mean, in the middle of the pandemic, we absolutely sold things off video because we have great video and all of you can have that. But even in a tight inventory market where you think it's going to sell in 5 minutes, you still must make sure it's staged and it looks good and the photographs are great and the floor plan is accurate and you do the videos and the 3Ds. Because if it doesn't sell in 5 minutes, you're going to put it on your MLSs or however you list it. And you want it to come up at the very top of all the portals out there. And the more you do for your property marketing wise, the higher up it's going to be and the more eyeballs you'll have. So if it didn't sell in 5 minutes, it will at least sell in 5 days and hopefully not have to be even 5 weeks. But you must absolutely, it's like when you're having a party, you just have to make sure all the candles are lit and everything is just as perfect as possible. You owe it to the seller and you owe it to the buyer because they might miss your home because you didn't present it as well as you could have.
I totally agree with you. And actually, there are two conclusions to be made. One is if you have the great marketing strategy, it's going to be a bidding war, or definitely you will get the top dollar for that
Absolutely.
property, and your seller is thrilled, and you are thrilled when you cash your commission check. So that's good news. And another direction I would like to bring up is your reputation. Every property you take as a listing and you prepare the marketing strategy, it's investment in your reputation and in your brand. And today it's more than ever, it's so important to have the right brand that you stick to and the consistency.
Yes. Everything you do must be excellent. And the brand is so important. And your brand, if you do things just not as professional, how everyone is always checking who's doing what, and you'll miss out on the next referral because they'll say, well, what that agent did wasn't very impressive, I'm not using her. So it's everything is for your future and being always the most professional you can be.
And if you need some help as an agent, regardless if you are a brand new agent and you really need some help and advice, or you are an experienced agent but you've been out of the game for a little while, or something goes wrong in your personal life and now you just need that strength and support to be out there, what would you recommend for both sides of agents?
Yes, it's such an important factor, and especially now when agents are working so hard and some of them are spinning wheels and not getting anywhere. For the newer agent, you're not necessarily going to have the ability to invest big dollars into you becoming even better. So I would strongly encourage new agents to look to agents even within your own company and emulate what they're doing. Maybe even offer, they're all very busy right now. And if you're not that busy, offer to do one of their open houses by appointment or offer them to do some of their paperwork so you can see how they're doing things and learn from it. Keep your eyes and ears open. When you should be a sponge at the new, but you really can. Also, if you've got a manager or an owner of your company, get a dialogue going. Set goals for yourself. Make yourself accountable even to that person. They'll think more highly of you knowing you have a business plan, but they'll also give you all that wonderful insight that they have learned. And then for an experienced agent, never, ever stop learning. I don't care how many years you're in the business, you must continue to learn. And sometimes it's going back to basics. Maybe you forgot you were not networking enough, or maybe you need help with social media. So I strongly encourage even people in the business a long time and very successful, if you can, get a coach if you need. And the coach could be just on basics, or it could be a coach to help you with technology or social media or whatever it might be that you need, but never, ever stop learning. And we always need help in learning. It's so hard to teach yourself. So I strongly urge coaching at whatever level.
I think that when you have a coach, you also you are focused so much more. They, again, like you just said, be accountable, and they will hold you accountable, because they just had a session with you a week or 2 weeks ago, and you promised that you will conquer the world, and in 2 weeks you better conquer the world. You will be focused on your goals and on all the projects that you put together and you wanted to accomplish. So I think it is wonderful. And like you said, if you do not want to go outside and hire a coach, I think going to a manager or going to a broker is a good idea.
Absolutely. And they're always more than happy to help. And you're so right. It's the accountability factor. We all think we're doing everything, but when you have to show someone what you did and what you accomplished or what you promised and didn't deliver, it makes you do it. How many of us, we have something to do and you wait till the deadline, but at least having the deadline makes you do it. So, and we're always just too easy on ourselves as human nature. So accountability is really makes it happen.
Absolutely. Kate, I think we have some questions, right?
Yes, we do. And please, if anybody else has questions, feel free to enter them in. Michelle, hello, Michelle, I know you. She's asked a couple of questions and I feel like you've answered it, but maybe we can expand a little bit more. So Michelle's wondering if the best agents are the most tech savvy. How do some of the not so tech savvy agents manage, and is it just something that all agents have to just buck up and learn? Or what's your kind of advice for those agents who are less tech savvy?
Well, it's funny. I remember years ago when, and those of you that are young won't even, when we just started with BlackBerries and everything. And I remember the younger agents saying, oh, the older agents are just they're never going to make it because they're just not keeping up with technology. And the reality is you need both. The agent that did and were successful before technology was so part of our fabric, they were dealing on the interpersonal skills. So those agents have great interpersonal skills. They're great networking. They're great with their follow-up with clients, and which is so essential. But then you're more tech savvy, they're relying on technology. So maybe they have to learn interpersonal skills. And sometimes it's not just a text. Sometimes you have to pick up the phone and say, how are you doing?
Yeah.
And follow through. Or if there's an offer going in, it's just not the cold, hard text or email. So I do think all agents need to know both, but one will never make you the success if you don't do all of it well. You'll get away with not knowing technology a little bit, and you can always get help for that. But the agent relying on technology is going to lose out so greatly on those interpersonal skills, the referrals from it, the follow-up, it's so important. So really it's the blending of the two that makes the great agents.
And real estate is people's business. So we still, though we cannot hug and kiss each other for a while now, and I don't know when we're going to start doing it again, but we can still see each other and smile and talk and network. More networking events are opening up. NAR is going to have the conference in the fall, which will be partially open, and Florida Realtors is going to have, I think, 50%. I'm pretty sure it's 50%, but the percentage is not certain yet, also in person. So we're still people's people. So it's important.
Yes, yes. And even if it's just the voice, and people are in their homes, and many of them are looking for someone to reach out. So I know I was just on a Zoom with some of my agents this morning, and one of the great agents said he's been reaching out to all of his clients throughout this and never asking about business. Just how are you? How's the family? And he's never had more business because he didn't make it about the sales call. And we should all learn from that. People are looking to be touched right now. Reach out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
that's
else
so
we have,
important.
Kate?
Another one Michelle asked, which I feel like you touched on, was she's wondering if now that social distancing restrictions are easing and the pandemic is starting to ease up, do you think that people will be buying more in major urban areas, or will buyer interest in suburbia continue?
I say yes to both. I believe the suburban interest will not go away. People realize they like fresh air, they like a backyard that they can go out. But I can tell you, Manhattan, Brooklyn first, they're on fire. We we can't keep things on the market. We have more inventory than many of the you across the nation have, because we had built up inventory during the pandemic. Because remember, for 3 months we couldn't show anything, so we had to build up. But it is off the charts. My agents are working 24/7 in the urban markets, and part of that is this good value. Nothing's being given away, but there's good value. So people are realizing the urban and lifestyle is not going to go away. And also they're looking at different sizes. So maybe if they left a city to go to a more suburban, they still might want to come back to send the children to school. So, then they might need a larger apartment, where right now they think they can be fine with a 2-bedroom. But urban markets are absolutely back and on fire. And I believe your suburban markets are here to stay.
Great.
Awesome. Let's try to get to one more question here. How important would you say personal branding is for agents? And do you see that in the support or in competition with their brokerage brands? And how do the two kind of intertwine and complement each other?
Well, I think a great marriage is wonderful. I think having a great brand behind you is so important, but it's your personal brand that often opens that door initially. It's your contact. So you branding yourself as the professional, as someone that they can count on that will get the job done, I think is very important. But I don't think one, just like in a marriage, sometimes it's 100 and nothing, but a good blend of 50-50 to me is the best. Make sure you define who you are, but I think having a strong professional brand as your backup makes it absolutely perfect. So I think it should be both. I don't think one should outshine the other, either direction.
Yeah, that was a good
That's great
question.
advice.
Thank you, Diane, for a great answer.
Thank you.
Yes. Let's do one more from Bobby. So she's saying, with social networking, CRM management, and many details required to stay afloat as an agent, how and from where can a solo managing broker solicit or acquire assistance? Any advice there?
Right. Well, I think if it has to do with something that's more tech oriented, there are so many young people that they do it in their sleep. So I think reaching out and trying to get help for anything that's not your expertise is a good way to go. So you can maintain control of what you're doing, because a lot of agents, they want to be the front line. That's what their clients want. They want their face, but that doesn't mean you have to do every other thing. So reach out, and there are, especially in the technology and social media arena, there are so many young people that they do it, as I said, in their sleep. Reach out and help. Sometimes it's even a family member that maybe will do your social media each day for you to get you going, so that you can focus on your network and whatnot. But reach out. There's so much help out there.
And do you see big movement and trend for teams, like in today's circumstances, that you cannot be 24/7 available for everybody,
Right.
but if you have a team, it kind of helps, right?
Right. Yeah, you're seeing so much more teams and partnerships, but it's not for everybody. I've had sole practitioners that are so terrific and so successful, and they'll come to me and say, do I have to be a team to continue to be successful? And the answer is no, because they know what their clients want. They don't want 18 million clients. They want to be what they are to their important sphere of influence. But you still have to prove to your clients that you can be 24/7. And that's where having a little bit of help will allow you to do that, or just having a fewer clients, and then you can give it. But teams aren't for everybody, in partnerships. And remember, again, I don't want to reference marriage again, but getting into a marriage is so much easier than getting out of it. So you really have your eyes wide open, because in a partnership or a team, it's got to be 1 and 1 equals 3. It can't be just 1 and 1 and 2. It has to be better than just the 2 or whatever, or it's not going to work. So I wouldn't jump into a team, but I'd keep my eyes open and be willing to consider it if it's right for you.
Yeah, we had a guest, Nikki Field. I'm sure you know her from.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Nikki's amazing.
And she has a great team. And she was also talking about the importance of having a team, and at the same time have that right chemistry. You already have a team, so every new member who comes along have to fit in, and has to be liked by everybody and enjoyed by everybody, and vice versa.
Yes, I've helped some of our team members bring on new team people too, and it is so important, because it's that old adage, a bad apple spoils the whole group, and it's so true. They are so careful who they bring on their team, because it's got to be like a well-oiled machine, and if you get someone that knocks it off kilter, it does great damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well,
that's a great point. And I think with that, we need to start wrapping up here. We're a little past time. So I just want to thank you so much, Diane. This was wonderful.
My pleasure. So enjoyed it. What a great lunchtime with you ladies. I'll do it again.
And we are adding a link right now to the chat. So please just take a minute and give your feedback on the show today. We always like to hear what you have to say. Anything you want to hear about us talk about, or a guest that you'd like us to bring on, just let us know. And then I also want to take a minute to announce the 5 winners of our free lunch. So we have Kevin Cook, Bobby Robertson, Terry Popper, Martha Salonica, and Sophie Menahem. So congrats to you, and look for those in your inbox tomorrow. One last thing before we go, join us again in 2 weeks on May 12th. Our special guest is Brian DeWitt. He's with Prism Digital Communications. We're going to be talking about integrated marketing strategies and all kinds of fun stuff. So don't miss that one. And that's all we have for you today. So thank you so much again, Diane.
Everybody, and thank you, Diane. And please go to vht.com/learn to watch all the videos and past episodes and our future plans for new episodes. And Diane, thank you so much.
My pleasure, and thank you. It's been a joy.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.